Alright, let's talk about Ben Jones, Cooter from the Dukes of Hazzard, and why his life story feels like a wild left turn from moonshine runs to Capitol Hill. Wait, hold on. Before you think this is just another Where Are They Now segment, let me tell you why this guy's legacy is way more fascinating than you'd expect. Yeah, he played a redneck mechanic with a CB radio and a penchant for yelling Breaker 1. But here's the kicker. The dude used that role to launch a political career, took down Newt Gingrich's buddy in a scandal, and credited a TV show with saving him from alcoholism. That's not just a plot twist, it's a whole different genre. So, what's the deal with Ben Jones? Let's unpack this. First off, the Dukes of Hazzard was pure Southern comfort food for the 1980s. It had car chases, a Confederate flag-waving muscle car, and moral clarity. The good guys wore jeans, the bad guys were corrupt officials. But here's what I find wild. Ben Jones, the actor behind Cooter, wasn't some hillbilly typecasting miracle. He was a guy from North Carolina who'd been deep in civil rights activism in college and struggled with alcoholism. The show didn't just give him fame, it gave him a second life. He straight up said playing Cooter pulled him out of a self-destructive spiral. So, does that mean fiction can save reality? Maybe. But also, isn't it ironic that a show critics called toxic nostalgia became his rehab? That duality? That's the whole story of Ben Jones right there. Now, let's get into the politics. After 7 seasons of fixing the General Lee, Ben swaps wrenches for legislation. Elected as a Democrat in 1988, he's this Orshucks Southerner who somehow becomes a fiscal conservative. Wait, Democrat, but conservative on economics? That's like Luke Duke running for Senate and campaigning on tax cuts. What's going on here? Ben wasn't playing a character anymore, but he still had that folksy charm. And yet, he'd buck his own party, cozy up to Reagan-esque policies, and even file an ethics complaint against Newt Gingrich. Gingrich, the guy who led the Republican Revolution in '94. Ben accused him of using tax-deductible donations for partisan work, which led to a House reprimand. So, was Ben a principled crusader or just a loose cannon? Either way, it's nuts that Cooter went full political ninja on one of the most powerful men in DC. But here's what nobody talks about, the show's weird cultural staying power. The Dukes of Hazzard should have died in the 80s, right? Yet it's still on cable, still selling General Lee toys in Pigeon Forge. Ben leaned into it, opening souvenir shops and playing the role for decades. Why? Because the show tapped into something deeper, a myth of the South where family wins, corruption loses, and every problem can be fixed with a wrench and a prayer. Ben knew that. He called it America's heartland values. But here's the thing, the South's real problems, racism, poverty, systemic corruption, weren't in the script. So was the show escapism or propaganda? Maybe both. But Ben didn't care. He was too busy signing autographs next to a beat-up Charger replica, probably thinking, if this dumb car can make people happy, why fight it? Let me end with this. Ben Jones' life was a collision of contradictions. A recovering alcoholic preaching fiscal discipline. A TV redneck shaking up Congress. A man who owed his survival to a show that romanticized a South that never really existed. And yet, isn't that the point of stories like his? They remind us that people aren't one note. The same guy who yelled "Crazy Cooter coming at YA" on TV could stare down Newt Gingrich and say, "Not today." So, what's the takeaway? Maybe that legacy isn't about consistency, it's about how you repurpose the hand you're dealt. Ben took a goofy role, turned it into a lifeline, then a political megaphone, then a nostalgia cash cow. Love it or hate it, that's hustle. What do you think? Drop a comment. Did Ben Jones master the art of reinvention, or did he just get lucky twice? Let's debate it.